I don't know how many other people are currently in quarantine, as they say, or lockdown, but I'm sitting at my desk way more than I usually am. So get up and move, whether that is, for me, putting on some Zumba, because I like to do Latin dance and literally just dancing around the room. Or maybe it's just doing a little bit of yoga or meditation or walking around your apartment. You start to get very stiff by sitting down all the time, and that makes you more tired, and ultimately you don't complete your tasks or your goals for that day in your community. What I found over the last few weeks is I've had so much time and I'm like, okay, great. I can do this. I can do so many different things. And it's so important to remember that, yes, you may have more time right now. Some people I found have literally not been able to eat lunch or dinner because they're so busy working. And I can tell you, eating is, for me, like, I will stop everything to eat. Even if I'm working and there's a deadline, there is always time to eat. The 3 meals a day, which I actually, before this crisis, I was never much of a breakfast person. So having a more of a routine within yourself every day, and just be more present within your communities. Some other things that I have found specifically for us as community managers are things like listening to music. That helps really kind of get our creative juices flowing. During this time, it's really important to get creative with your communities, depending on, obviously, the industry that your community's in and the topic of discussion, is finding ways of getting them to be engaged. Now, this, of course, is related to community care, but this is also for you and self-care, because you start to get creative of what you can do yourself that is kind of downtime outside of your community building. Because let's face it, we could be on our communities 24/7, engaging, posting, getting people to join, like all those different things, but it's just not healthy to be on 24 hours. So think of ways of things you can distract yourself. Maybe it's learning a new skill, like, I don't know, painting or something. I think it's really important to do other things that are so disconnected from what we do on a daily basis, that just gets our minds to kind of reset ourselves and just take a break from the community aspect. Because even though community is so important right now and people are coming together online way more than they ever have done, that doesn't necessarily mean that we need, as community managers, to be on there 24/7. And I think that's important, and I think we often forget about that, because we see all these people coming in and we're like, oh my God, we need to do this, I need to do that. But ultimately, we're still people and we do need to have our own time. Other things that I've been researching, I've been speaking to people about, is treats. I don't know if anyone else treats themselves. I know that obviously a lot of us are at home right now, but for me, I end up snacking a lot during the day, just because everything is right there. So something I learned the other day in another webinar is the dog treat system. Now, I know what you're thinking. It sounds kind of funny. That basically is where you say you have a list of tasks, and then once you complete a certain task or a couple of tasks, you give yourself a treat, like you would if you was giving a treat to a pet for doing something good. And this has enabled me to cut down on my snacks. But also, if there's other things that you kind of like to have on a daily basis or you like to indulge in, this is a great way to monitor them, so you're not doing them all day, every day. So yeah, the dog treat reward system is great, and you can cater that to your individual needs. One other thing that I think is really important with self-care within ourselves is actually kind of distancing ourselves from things around us, which kind of sounds counterproductive because we're community managers. But I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but I'm not always working on my community. I'm doing my other jobs aside to this. And I think it's important to kind of reduce the distractions that are around us. Like, for example, the phone going off with WhatsApp notifications, or Instagram, or LinkedIn, or TikTok. If you're using TikTok right now, there's so many apps out there that I know I'm subscribed to. And as soon as I get a notification, I'm like, okay, what am I looking at? And this can ultimately stop you from completing tasks and being as proactive. So maybe dedicate a certain amount of time a day where you turn off the notifications and you say, okay, right, this is what I'm doing here. Once I've done this, maybe your treat is to look at your notifications on Instagram for 30 minutes. Again, managing yourself, managing your time, and really learning about yourself and what your body, what your mind can take from this situation. I know for me, I have been trying to avoid a lot of the news going around. I mean, I'm fully aware of what's happening, but I don't. For me, it's not a positive thing for me to watch every day negative and kind of sad news when we're all at home trying to continue with our jobs, our businesses, and when things are in crisis. So if that's something that will work for you, it has meant I'm kind of what's the word, not really following what's happening, but it definitely taken my mind off it, and I've been able to focus on other things. So there's just a few things that I would suggest in terms of self-care for yourself. Everyone is different, but this is the perfect time to try out these new things and see what works for you. There's some of the things that I've tried that haven't worked. For example, a lot of people suggest to do meditation. I've tried that. I find it actually really difficult to focus on that, even for a couple of minutes. But for other people, that might be something that works really well for you. Instead, I just kind of dance around the room with really loud music. That helps me relax. But again, different people can relax to different things. So those are my kind of top tips right now for be really relaxing and self-caring for as community builders, and really as professionals in any industry. I think that these self-care practices can transfer no matter what you're doing. Obviously, working in community, it means that we are often either around people in person a lot or around people online a lot, and sometimes that can be really hard to distance ourselves when you're used to being with people all the time, especially when, for me, I'm now at home all the time without people. But then it's really important then to find, or not find, hopefully you already have these people, is a strong network of friends that get you, that you can speak with, you can dump your stresses for the day, or even close family and friends. And if you don't have those people around you, then this is also a great time to build your network of supportive people. There are so many online events right now, just like this one, where you can meet people that are doing the same thing or have the same interests. And luckily, there's almost one every single day. So it's a great time to really find people that are like your tribe, as you call it. And you never know when you might need that person for your future project, or maybe they need to dump things on you. I think definitely finding that support from other people is really important with helping with your self-care and getting through this crisis. So those are my things on self-care. I mean, I could talk for hours about self-care, but I know that we don't have hours, we just have 1 hour. So I'm going to move on, if that's okay, to community care. Is that all right? I think it is. Waiting for a thumbs up. I'm going to take that as a thumbs up. So community care then. Now, I was in a breakout room just a minute ago and we was just introducing ourselves. I have Eat Out Madrid, which is a community of food lovers, English-speaking food lovers predominantly. We speak in English because that's the language I speak in. But they are food lovers who enjoy eating out within this city, which is Madrid. And the purpose of the community is to share the best places to eat. The reason for that is there's just no need to be writing about places that aren't great. I don't want to know where not to go and eat. I want to know where I should go and spend my money. So I do talk a lot about food all day, every day. We have 6 communities, 6 online communities here in Spain. Madrid is the main one. It's been around the longest for about 3.5 years. It has over 6,500 members. And all we do is talk about food. So in this crisis, the topic of food has been very popular, as you can imagine. People can't go and eat out anymore. So they are learning to be chefs at home. So it's been a great time for people sharing pictures of their food creations in the kitchen. And I think this is a great way to bring people together, no matter what industry or what topic your community is on, is food. Food brings happiness, I believe. I know I'm happy when I eat food. And yeah, it's just been a really good time. So the community care aspects then that I would recommend for this time is support, number one. Obviously, different industries are affected more by the crisis than others. So having support from the admins, the moderators, community builders like you is invaluable to members. They need you right now to be there for them as much as you can. And because we are online a lot more these days, a lot more people are becoming more active and therefore are posting a lot more, they are commenting a lot more, or looking for communities to join that have their interests in mind. Now, with that being said, even though it's a great time for communities, that does mean you may see people trying to join or trying to comment that maybe don't align with your community's values. For example, if you're managing a women's community and there might be men trying to join, for example, or in a food community where people don't like food, or if you are in a tech community and somebody is on there trying to talk about other things that are just not related to what you're doing. So the moderation of your communities right now is something that should be high up on your list, which means you're going to be spending maybe more time trying to see what's being posted, making sure people are following guidelines. So if you are able at this time, if you don't have them at the moment, is finding some moderators or extra help to bring on board to help with the request for people to join. If you are having posts that you need to approve, getting those posts approved. I have one community here, which, so I have Eat Out Madrid, and then what I did was I created a sister community called Eat in Madrid, because I felt like there should be a separation with the places that people want to eat out at and the places that people want to eat in. So cooking in, finding ingredients, delivery, that kind of thing. And in Eat in Madrid, even though we have, I think maybe 1,500 people, every single day, people are sharing their breakfast pictures, their lunch pictures, their dinner pictures. I've never seen so many pictures of food posted in one day. So that has been a challenge to keep up with, just approving those posts, which has meant I've spent more time coming on to do things. But I do feel if you have help, then you can share that responsibility. Or maybe there's a time that you set to your community and say, hey, look, I'm going to be on here from this time to this time. I'll be approving your post here. I'll be interacting. And maybe this is a time that you set every day so that people know that you're online. And then you can do some sort of online event as well. I use Facebook a lot. So Facebook Lives work really well to get people engaging and really bring together people and that sense of community. So moderation is really important. Another thing that I think is really great to do right now in terms of community care is, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. Here it is. Keeping up the positive vibe. Obviously, as I said, there's a lot of negative information, false information going around. The media obviously puts together a lot of articles and posts that get people talking, get people sharing and liking, but it doesn't mean that they're always true. So I feel within our communities where we have the power to really just create this positive vibe or continue the positive vibe that your community has had this whole time, by keeping things light-hearted and upbeat. And if you do then run into people that want to kind of diminish that vibe, because you're moderating or have other people helping you, you're able to kind of nip that in the bud quickly, and that way it doesn't affect your other members. An example in Eat Out Madrid recently actually is there's a lot of people that are not happy with ordering delivery food right now. They don't feel that having people out on the streets delivering is helping the situation. However, there are businesses out there that are still looking to make money, and there's people out there that still are willing to order food. So sometimes when the people are talking about that, it can get quite heated sometimes with the different opinions that people have. And as community builders, as moderators, as admins, I think it's really important to make sure you're supporting people, especially when they're asking questions, and keeping your communities active, that you're there for them. Because if you don't, then going forward, they may not feel like they want to interact or engage in the community because other people are maybe coming onto them negatively. So that's why I say having a positive vibe, no matter what the industry is really important. Moving on, a lot of people have said to me, especially for those in the travel industry, that they're just not seeing any engagement right now in their communities. Obviously, travel has been hit really hard, and no one is traveling, and they're getting really disheartened that their once really engaged community is just kind of fizzling out, and they're kind of panicking about what to do to get people talking. My first thing, if anybody is finding themselves in a community, well, their community is not as active as before, is to don't get disheartened about it, but also keep going with the community, because what I want to say is that it's all about keeping it up, keeping the engagement up. So what I think you should do here is don't overpost within the community. Just keep things going, have content out there that's really easy for people to engage with. For example, I asked in our community the other day, how would you describe your favorite eat out experience in emojis? And some people got really creative. I saw the flags of different countries they wanted to go to with airplanes, and then the faces of the people they wanted to meet. And it's just something fun to get people involved. But don't give up on your communities just because they're not engaging. Keep going. And as soon as we're out of this crisis, things will just get much better, and you'll thank yourself for being like, I'm so glad I didn't give up. So don't be disheartened. As I mentioned before, getting creative is so exciting. I love getting creative. I hope that a lot of you out there do too. And this is the perfect time. The reason why is that because we're all online, and for me, I'm an events organizer also, so I'm really struggling with the fact that I can't organize in-person events. However, I've been learning to adapt and getting creative, and been exploring online events. Hands up who is doing online events right now or thinking of doing online events. Yeah, okay, perfect. If you haven't done an online event yet, start thinking about it. They're really quite fun, and it's a great way to bring your community members together. I've been doing some fun little online events within my community, quiz nights. So this every Saturday at 8:30, I do a food and drink quiz with my community. Nothing serious, there's no prizes. I go on a Facebook Live and I do 3 different rounds. One is a food round, one is a drink round, and then I go into my kitchen and I find some random items that I cover the brand label and I say, what item is this? And it's just a great way to bring people together. We are all in on our Saturday nights when a lot of people, especially in Madrid, would be out drinking and socializing. So I've been trying to create ways of bringing that social aspect of our culture into our own home. So I do a pub quiz in the Eat In community where people are sharing all of their food pictures every day. Every Thursday, we are now doing either a cook in event or an eat in event. So tonight, actually, we are doing cook in. So all on a Zoom, just like this, and we're all going to cook tonight the same dish. So we're all cooking the Italian spaghetti bolognese, and we're going to be learning from each other how we cook it and what kind of ingredients we use, the different recipes, and it's just a great way again to get ourselves into the kitchen and cooking together, especially for those who are living by themselves. So yeah, get creative with your events. Maybe it's a time for you to do an Ask Me Anything or Ask Us Anything if you haven't done that. I assume a lot of you who are community builders are subject matter experts in your fields. So this is a great way to share some of your knowledge with other people. And if you've had any new members join, this is a great way for them to know who you are. I know for me, I've been doing some support sessions as myself. I'm a community consultant as well. So every Sunday I've been doing a support session with a small group of people just to talk about things that are related to this situation. So last week we did how to have an elevated online presence. We talked about how to manage members, and we've been talking about virtual events. So think of things that your members would be interested in learning about right now, and do an online event for it. And it could be just a Zoom like this, or it could be something a little bit more kind of interactive. There's a program out there called Icebreaker Video. We've been using it for CMX Connect. And it's a website that you go on and you can do kind of short paired activities. So you create a game and then you all join in this group chat like we were at the beginning of the chat. I can see where we've got 68 comments right now. And then you click to join the game and then everyone gets randomly paired up. Then you can have games happening where they flip over cards and they have, say, 5 minutes or 8 minutes, depending on how long you want to have, where they talk to each other. And after that time's up, you all end up coming back into the chat area. So this is like a virtual networking. So think of different ways that you can bring things to your members. I think right now, keeping up momentum and keeping up the value that you're providing for them will not only keep engagement up, but also keep members loyal and then be advocates for your community and invite other people. I've seen so many people be invited to our communities from other members in the community. So I think that that's a really good opportunity for you, is the online events. Some people have even been doing online open mic nights. I'm not sure how that works. Happy hours where everyone just has a drink and talks about a specific topic. There are so many platforms out there right now, and a lot of them actually are giving away like free trials. There's a program actually that is launching tonight. It's called, I think I'm saying it right, TEOH. It's spelled TEOOH, and it's basically like a virtual reality conference venue, I think is the best way to describe it. And so you create an avatar as yourself, and you go in and sit at a table, and then there could be a speaker, or there could be a panel discussion happening on the stage, which you can see in this venue. And there's no video involved, it's just your avatar, but everyone can hear your voice. So when you're on the breakout tables, you can only hear what's happening on those tables. And then when the speaker starts, or the panel discussion starts, you hear as a room what's going on. So they're about to launch today. And as of tomorrow, I believe, you can create events for up to 70 people for completely, there's no charge, it's completely free. So I would advise a lot of people, if you are looking to do online events, this could be a great way, a different way to get people engaged within the community. Let me see, what else do I have here? Now, a lot of people have been asking me within community care, like, is this a good time to promote like paid services or products? I don't sell any services within my communities. I am a community consultant, but I don't have a community for that. I have seen though other people attempting to share their services and their products which are at a charge, and I've seen not much engagement on it. I feel like at this time it's maybe not the right time to be doing that, but instead thinking of ways that you can support people through this crisis, and hopefully by the end of it, when things are all kind of blown over, they will then come back to you because you gave them so much value and support when they needed it. So if you are within a community that is monetizing, maybe this is a way of a time of rethinking the strategy a little bit. I have one friend, she's a copywriter and brand strategist. So that's what she does. She has clients, but she's recently created a community, and every day she brings a speaker on that's related to content and branding to speak about their experience. And these are completely free Facebook Lives that really are sharing a lot of information. Not only does this kind of elevate yourself as the person who's selling the services or the person that's selling the products, but it also gives an opportunity for other people to showcase themselves. And in the hope that when it's all over, the clients can then be obtained, and your businesses or your communities, if you're making money from those, they can continue to thrive, and we can almost at the end of this just kind of think of it as a distant memory, and that it wasn't that bigger of a deal, even though it may feel like it right now. The last thing I would say with community care, aside to all the other things, is really look at your content right now. I plan my content quite far in advance. I use Trello a lot. I don't know if anyone else does, but I love the way that it's kind of all laid out. I can see everything there from Monday to Friday, what I'm posting. I feel like I've had to really adapt my content strategy to the needs of the community. So really think about, is this a time to use the crisis as a pin for your content, or do you want to kind of stay away from talking about it? And I think it's important to let your community members know if it's something you're talking about or not, because otherwise they may not know how they should interact, how they should post, because ultimately that's what we want in communities. We want engaging members, and a lot of the time we are not clear enough in our guidelines, and maybe this is a time for you to revisit your guidelines and update them, amend them for this time as you're looking at your content. I've been noticing that polls, creating polls in the community has really been kind of a hit. Sharing quotes about certain things. I mean, I just share food quotes. People seem to really like to share things like that. So again, it's a great way for me as a community manager to get my community out there to more people, because they're sharing things that I've created. And of course, picture sharing. You can share pictures about anything. And I think it's really great to bring people together during this time. And people love to see other people's creations or other people's favorite things. Or if you are, I don't know, if you have a community that's tech related, share products. There's just no limit really on picture sharing. And again, they say a picture paints 1,000 words. So I would rather have hundreds of pictures than see thousands of words. So those are my kind of top things relating to community care. I'm sure a lot of people are doing those already, but those are my kind of top things to do. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I wish I could talk for more, but I'm conscious of the time, so I think we guess
Thank
we're moving
you,
to the
Valentina.
question.
Before we do that photograph, because I've got like 2 laptops altogether to capture all this everyone faces, but still we are not able to finish it because it's like more than 2 screens are required to cover everyone, to click everyone. So first of all, thank you so much. Okay, like
You're
to
welcome.
come and like do this and take up time and do this. We all 3 of us, me, Ankita, and Himanshu, know that you were busy with something, but you still plan this. And I guess, see, just I'll call this like that it's your effect that so many people have turned up. Otherwise, it's very sad here. Like, let me tell you, like we have seen meetups like where we have like done a lot of effort and like very few people turning up. So when Ankita is emphasizing on the word like so many people, it's a big thing for like for people those who are organizing. And when you see so many faces, you feel like okay, your work is actually going out and people are interested in community management, so which is a good thing for us. So going ahead, like before we waste more time, I guess it's a quick Q&A thing, right, Himanshu?
Yes,
Like
yes.
we have few questions, so let's do one thing. Already have few questions which people have asked. How do you empower your community to innovate during this crisis?
I mean, I guess the first thing that comes to mind with empowering is really just sharing things from myself to empower others. So, for example, within the Eat In community, the way that I got people to start sharing their breakfast, lunch, and dinner photos was just by me doing it myself. And then again, that goes back to telling your members how you want them to interact. You really have to, a lot of the time, you really have to tell them again, because again, they're part of maybe 1, 10, 100 communities, and they're probably not as active as us as community builders. So you really just have to really kind of guide them, almost sometimes like 5-year-old children, but without them knowing it. So when I mean empower, I think that's really just kind of setting the tone, telling them how they should post, how they should engage, and I can guarantee that after maybe a day or a few days, you'll start seeing people follow, to the point where now in Eat In Madrid, I don't even have to share any food pictures because people are doing it all the time because I started something, and that's the way I see empowerment in terms of being innovative in the community.
Okay. Thanks, Valentina. I guess let's go. Adam, do you want to go next? And you can actually ask the question.
I was muted still. So Valentina, my question is around the way that you moderate your members during the current crisis. We found in one of our communities that some otherwise super nice and pleasant, level-headed people are starting to act irrationally and out of character. How do you account for this?
Okay, good question. I've also seen this, and this is of course down to the stress and the frustration of what's happening. What I have been doing, depending obviously of what they're saying, obviously if it's something that is just completely below your kind of guidelines, the first thing I would do is reach out to them and basically say to them, like, are you okay? Like, I noticed that you had written this. You're normally very engaging, very happy. I just want to check in. I know it's a difficult time, and try and go that approach first before going in and being like, you cannot say this, you can't post this, blah blah blah. And a lot of the time, they usually will come back and be like, I'm sorry, it's just really stressful time right now, and that's a good way of kind of calming down the situation. And then what I usually do once I've done that, depending how many people have maybe started doing this, I put out a friendly reminder to people, and kind of broadcast it to everybody, just to make sure everyone's aware, because again, you might have new members, and you don't want the new members seeing these once kind of top fans almost, and then thinking that's the way for them to engage. So I think it's reaching out to them personally and doing like a check-in, and making sure they're okay. Obviously, if the way they're talking is completely wrong, then deleting those posts, maybe re-looking at your guidelines, just so that everyone is on the same page, and then just again telling them again. That's my, I keep saying that, but it's just so true.
Okay, thanks, Valentina. So guys, before we go to next question, because we still got like few minutes, I want to take a photograph before people start leaving. Okay, and even I've already thought about the caption, what is gonna be there. It's gonna be like, friends who drink together stays together. I'm just kidding, but just raise your, if you have something in your hands, probably you can just raise it. If you have some glass cup, or just raise your hand, and if you can put your video on. Thank you, Shubham. Thank you for understanding. Manpreet, Sakshi, thank you. Good to see the faces. One second, Carmen, can we see your face, Chitra? If you can. Perfect. So, 1, 2, 3. I'm taking one more. Stay, Jatin, stay. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next question. Sorry for the break. The next one, I guess we can go to Meryl.
Yeah.
Do we?
Hi.
Hi, I'm not sure.
So my question is, with the lockdown, the physical and emotional labor for Indian women has really gone up. So this means that they have less time for community engagement and for themselves. So how can we support them in this time?
Okay, let me think about this.
Do you have any thoughts?
I think from a moderator admin perspective, I think it's making sure that they know that you're available for them to speak to you and reach out to you. Maybe there's a separate private channel or way that they can connect with you that they may not know about right now. Whether it's just like, send me a private message, or you can reach me on this email just to talk, or we can jump on a Zoom call like this. I think that's really important. And I think a lot of people feel like they're alone right now, even though none of us are really alone. To think of the amount of people right now that are sitting at their desks, just like we are, if you're sitting at a desk or sitting at home. And I think that's something that's really important, is just to let them know that you're there to support them, and that if they don't feel like they want to share something publicly within the community, that they can reach out to you and you can post anonymously on their behalf. I sometimes get that a lot, not in regards to this, but with eating out things. People are trying to create birthday parties and they don't want their partners to know. But this applies, I think, a lot to other things. So it's really about having that support. And I think that if they feel like they are welcomed and they're supported and they've got people out there looking out for them, they will be more happy to engage. And it may just take a little bit of time, but again, don't give up on them. I've seen so many communities just kind of be like, well, no one's engaging, no one's doing this, I'm just gonna close the community. And that's not really the right thing to do right now, especially as we are all frustrated. I mean, I'm frustrated too. So it's really just being there for other people, and letting them know that, you know, it is okay. And they will, I feel like they will be more, they'll be more willing to let down their guard, and engage with you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That makes sense.
Next, Ashish, you can go.
My point of view is you need to care for the community, but also how do you keep them? How do you like tell them to, you know, help create other communities is very important right now. Right? How do you empower them? That's what I meant, because a lot of these healthcare, a lot of these other problems which is facing out there, they need more help right now for the communities, right? And also, COVID-19 has become a new marketing tool for everyone, right? Which has been going around. So how are you, it's time to turn the table and put a different forward thinking approach to this, right? So I just want to like ask you, how are you doing it, like how, in your aspect of it, and how we all can kind of like think to turn the table,
Okay, all right. Well,
make the world more crisis in the mind.
I mean, within my communities, I guess I'm not empowering them to create other communities. However, within CMX, obviously CMX is, our chapter here in Madrid is for community builders, and not everybody is building a community right now. We have what we call community curious people, who like the idea of community or want to learn about it. So that's why I've been doing these online support sessions, which has been like very small Zoom calls. And I've also been sharing a lot of content. I don't create my own content. I don't do blogs or anything. I don't like writing. So I've been trying to be a lot more active on social media, in particular with LinkedIn, sharing other people's content that's talking about the importance of community and why you need a community right now. Because a lot of people don't even realize that they are part of a community. I mean, even here, like every night at 8 p.m, we all open our windows and we clap for the medical workers. And that's just created a community out of nowhere. So I really think it's not necessarily being direct in that you should create a community, but it's putting out that relevant content that then makes people think, oh yeah, actually, like, this is a great idea, I could create this. Then I've had people reach out to me saying, hey, I would love to speak to you about how to get this started. And that's how I've been able to get potential clients for my community consulting business. By, I think it's important to like plant the seed rather than just like keep watering it all the time, because we all know when you water something too much, it just dies. So I think it's pushing that content out that's relevant, and really when you're sharing other people's content in particular, it's really putting a lot of context into it, and making people question themselves as they're reading it, with thought-provoking questions, so that it really makes them think, oh yeah, actually, I think having a community for my business would be a really good idea. So that's my way, I guess, that I've been empowering people, is just being active and sharing relevant content that other people are doing. Now, of course, if you can write your own, then great. I'm just not that talented.
No, it's okay. Thanks so much for answering that.
Yeah, thanks, Valentina. So guys, I guess let's give the off now. I am sure there are a few more questions which are there, and questions won't stop. We also know that we are the community builders. We cannot stop talking, and we cannot stop doing questions. I know that. So, but let's do things which has never been done ever. Like that, so many people turning up on the event day, and we are wrapping our event on time. So these two things have never happened. So let's try to do both the things today. Okay, and but again, thanking you, Valentina, first of all, and thank you so much. Thank you for bringing friends also to the party. And guys, like what to say, cheers to us. It's like it's not like that I'm only happy here. I guess you all know a lot of people here have been in other meetups, and they know like how good it is to see more people of the same tribe, or the people those who believe in the same thing. So I guess this is crazy. I guess we are I love COVID situation then if this is gonna happen. So I'm sorry, I don't want to say that, but I'm just saying like it's good to have everyone here, and promising that next week let's do more intense discussion. Not so many people we want to do. We'll do 20 people, 10 in one group, 10 in one group. We will do two questions, two topics at a time. We all will discuss. It will be a 1 hour of discussion meetup, and we will break down 20 group in two people, and we will do discussion, and the teams will come back and they'll conclude whatever has been discussed, so that we'll be able to do like more intensive discussions and come up with a lot of conclusions altogether, which can help everyone. So a lot of discussion oriented meetup in next week, and after that plan is to even bring on such meetups where we can just pick up one community out of among all of us, and we all will ask them what are the problems you're facing, and probably say 5 to 10 people sitting all together and helping them with the person out. So that's the only way we want to help each other, and like create examples in the ecosystem of successful communities, at least in our ecosystem. I'm sure Valentina, you must be having a lot in your place, but we are a growing ecosystem, so definitely we all need to create examples. So by the same thing, I guess, thank you Himanshu, thank you Ankita, thank you everyone, thank you Valentina, thank you so much. Have a good time, have a good night, have a good morning, whatever is going to be there. So we'll see you
so
next
much.
time.
you,
And if you're
everyone.
not part of the group, please be a part of the group, or be part of the channel where you can get to know about the next meetup. We keep on sharing, but still be there. It'll be valuable for sure. We'll try to do that. Let's do it together. Bye guys.